Progress Racing presents Show Us Your Tips, Saturday preview for the 10th of July, 2021. Beaver and Daggy with you to look towards a wet Randwick with some rain on the way in Sydney, as well as the Monash Stakes down in Caulfield. Beaver, how you travelling, buddy?
Yeah, travelling well, mate. Cooped up and a bit chilly outside, so cooped up in the nice warm lounge room at the moment, mate.
Yeah, probably the way to spend the week. Well, we don't have many other options than to spend the weekend that way. But
Yes, but
uh,
looks like it might be a bit of a wet weekend.
at least we've gone a bit closer. At least we're racing, so we'll have something to bet on. We'll kick off at Randwick, where the rail is in the 4 meter mark. Soft at the moment. It's supposed to be a bit of rain around, especially tomorrow. So we'll see how that comes up. I've treated it sort of just on the worst side of soft. Probably a heavy track for the day. We kick off with the 2-year-olds over the 1100 meters. Did you have any thoughts on some of these first starters?
Didn't have too many thoughts on the first starters. They were hard to line up, but I tipped Dragonstone its first two starts, and I was pleased with the way it won last start. So I'm thinking it can. There's no reason it won't continue to improve, and no reason it can't win this.
No, fair enough. I like the trials of Sir Crackle. I think they've been really good. One on the heavy as well. He's looked really impressive in all its starts. Collet going on. Obviously, I've spoken enough about how he rides the wet tracks very well. And I thought he was a nice way to start off here. The overs in the race, we've had I forget who it was now. Someone asked for a few more roughies. He likes when we get into the roughies. So I thought the roughie here, number one, Dar Sandermill, sat outside lead on a pretty hot pace when it was chasing Jigsaw at Caulfield, and not necessarily a recipe I always follow, but I think was pretty good in holding on in that race and can probably run well around a $15 mark. But I thought the first starter, Sir Crackle, looks a nice horse. Race number 2, benchmark 72 over the 1500 meters. And this is a pretty ordinary affair, Beaver. Did you have any interest?
I didn't have a lot of interest in this, mate. If I was forced to have a pick, I had a slight leaning towards all in this together. Probably get back in the field, but like the way its second race start, how it hit the line really strongly last start when it stepped up over to the mile. I think it can continue to improve. Mark Newnham stable, Rachel King gets a chance, and it's down light in the weight, so around the $5 mark. I thought all in this together could be hardest to beat.
I just defaulted to Kobe Rocks. It's not necessarily a horse I'm that keen on, but this is a lot of provincial form, and it's the Saturday horse in the race. It and I guess Majorati, who was pretty ordinary first up. So it's been up forever, and do I really want to back it? Probably not, but I just defaulted to the top weight here, away from all the provincial stuff. Race 3 is the highway. I left this alone. Did you want to wade in here?
Nah, look, I wasn't a big fan of the highway, but if you're looking for some value, Zeus Station won well last start. It's had good winning form prior to that, around the $10 mark. Could be the play in the highway.
Nice. Race number 4, benchmark 78 for the girls, over the 1100 meters. Again, this had a bit of a midweek feel, but I've gone back to Growan here. It's now third up. Absolute wet tracker. In a weakish field, I thought that might be, again, looking for the Joe Pride wet track Saturday horse. A little bit of a claim helps out as well. Dunbrody Power I could have found. I think it's in later as well, but not necessarily on the wet. What about you, Beef?
Yeah, didn't like this race at all. Thought Dunbrody Power probably the best horse in the race, but a bit of concern over the condition of the track. Not sure it'll start if it gets too heavy. So outside of that, mate, happy to go with your selection there.
Race number 5, 2000 meter benchmark 78. I sort of went looking for the form here around the Steely race. So the 2 quick backup horses, Harpo Marks, now third up, quick backup, and Welsh Legend, who was okay in that race as well, both on the quick backup. Was a recipe for success for Emudji on the yesterday, and just on the wet tracks, dry to wet, 7-day backup. I thought the fit and firing ones might be those two. And I think there's a bit of a tail here. Did you have any different opinion?
Yeah, I think you're right. There is a bit of a tail here. I like Sakaz, but it's been scratched. So that probably makes it set up for Harpo Marks third up to continue to improve. Probably gets the right run in this race and looks the hardest to beat, particularly with that scratching.
Race number 6 on the 10 race card. We get to enjoy these every week, 10 races. 1100 meter benchmark 78 this time for the boys. What have you done with some of these? We've got Hulk in the market again. The Bopper's sort of been one of yours. How have you split them?
Yeah, I've put a line through Hulk. I just can't back Hulk until it wins another race. Look, I've gone for the Bopper. It's gonna probably get out in front and lead. Had really good form last preparation, in way better company than this. Strolled nicely enough without being pushed too hard. Look, it's certainly the most promising horse in this race, and should be hardest to beat. And then if you want to look at some value, look at Accelerado and Broken Arrows. All ran nice races last start. They're certainly not without a chance.
Yeah, good analysis. Accelerado was the one I would have mentioned. Double figures, I think, can run well here. Wet Tracker might get close to probably just jump off the Bopper's back, I suppose. Might be the one double figures, but I think you've summed up pretty well. J-Mac going on the Hulk is the only possible reason I'd probably give it one more chance, but it's now 3 seconds in 4 starts his prep. Maybe it's not quite as enthusiastic about winning as we might like. So the Bopper has some form around some good horses and has pace here. If it's really heavy, it might not even start. So Accelerado might get the lead by default if it's not here.
Yeah, the Bopper's had a start on soft before and won, so never started on the heavy. So I'd be surprised if they take it out.
Yeah, no, fair enough. We kick off the quaddie, race 7, benchmark 72, 1300 meter. The second running of the midway. And I'm thinking these midways might be better betting opportunities than highways, just because it worked last week where we were able to isolate the Metro horses, the actual Saturday horses, and they were all in the finish. And I think it's the same formula here. I've sort of looked to Monegal, Cuban Royale as two horses who have had quite a few reasonable runs in Saturday races, and this is a drop in grade for them. I think they'll be hard to beat. They'll be both good bets at double figure odds if you're looking that way.
Yeah, about the $15.
Definitely. And Bazooka was hard to miss last week. Chasing home Tycoonist, 7-day backup. I can see why it's favourite, and again is the Saturday horse. I think they're the three, and sort of pretty keen actually to play around with those three. Did you look at this any differently?
Yeah, I did, mate. I come up with a shim. Around the double figure odds as well. I thought its first start in Australia was pretty good. At Rose Hill, it was in a similar race. It was 3.5 lengths behind Paper Warrior and Tycoonist, but started 50s and was at an unsuitable distance. Gets a little bit more distance, the 1300, which will be in its favour. Still probably looking for further, but should handle the conditions. This is not an overly hard race. And if it's got any ability, could be the knockout chance here.
Very nice. I like it. I think I like those 4 numbers for the quaddie as well. You might have a nice angle there to play. Race number 8, the Winter Stakes listed race over the 1400 metres. We saw a lot of these go around against each other a couple of weeks back. Throw in the resuming Ziegfeld and Rubisaki coming up from Melbourne. You keen on Bandersnatch again?
No, I've flipped to Rubisaki, to be honest. Okay. I just think I've really liked the last couple of runs of Rubisaki. I know it's going from Flemington back to Sydney here, but look, certainly definitely looking for the softer going. It's had 2 out of 2 on heavy, had 8 starts on the soft, 4 wins, 3 seconds. So certainly a horse that likes to sting out of the ground. less than a length off Dice Roll, who's a pretty decent horse and pretty close behind Yulong January the last two starts. Prior to that at Morphettville wasn't the greatest, but that was behind Brooklyn Hustle, who franked that form.
Yeah.
So for me, look, Rubisaki's got a pretty good record. 17 starts, 8 wins, 4 seconds. Goes well the track, goes well the distance, and loves to sting out of the ground. Nash on board. Nothing suggests to me that it can't win this. And around the $4 mark, I think it's a very, very good bet.
A couple of interesting ones here. I thought either Bandersnatch gets a similar setup here, it can get close to control of this race. The two fresher horses, Ziegfeld started $3.50. It's only Australian start. Last trial on the wet was okay. It was quite good actually. So it might be building to something, might be a target here. And Canna Monte Cristo had the flashing light, and I think he's actually been over bet just because of that. But interesting, J-Mac being booked, and be interested to see if it does start on the heavy. But just the two sort of outside the market there. A lot of these feel attached to each other. Rubisaki, I would have liked it to probably, pick up Yulong January or Dice Roll, maybe not. But like you said, it wasn't far off Brooklyn Hustle, and that's turned out to be borderline group 1 form. So interesting to see how that all pans out. Probably haven't really given a lot there beyond, a couple of outside the market. I might throw into a quadrilla. Benchmark 88, race 9, 1,200 meters is the second last. Again, another wide open affair. I liked Madam Legend's win last start. I thought it was pretty good here. It is a little bit up in grade, but Brock Ryan's going okay at the moment. Probably right draw by this time to get to the middle of a wet Randwick and can run pretty well here. Frosty Rocks is probably the obvious getting a lead, but and it does go right in the wet. Just always that concern first up on heavy for me later in the day. I thought they were the two I'll probably look at. How are you looking at the race?
Yeah, I went for the Resumo Ventura Ocean. Two runs last prep, both nice wins. Spilled straight after that. J-Mac goes on board. It's got good trainer in Chris Lees around the $5 mark. Should handle hopefully would handle the wets. There's not a lot of form around it's on the wet, so I'm taking a bit of a chance there. But if it runs, then I think it could be hard to beat. Its 2 runs last prep were both in Queensland. So for Lees to bring it to Sydney, obviously thinks it's got a little bit of ability and hopefully improved with that spell.
Yeah, nice. I thought probably slightly short for me, but you've got a good handle on the just fitting into a wide Sydney race, but you've got a pretty good handle on the Queensland form. So obviously, happy to take your lead there as well.
Yeah, you're right. It is a bit, but sometimes these horses, when they're fresh, they sprint well.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that's the case.
And we wrap up with a 78 over 1,400 meters. And well, what do we do with these two in the market, Blondeau and Catalan? Do you forgive them? Do you just move on? The more I look at this race, the more I'm probably happy to be watching the footy by this stage, to be honest. How have you got any thought on this race?
Yeah, Blondeau put a line through.
Yeah.
They backed it off the mat first start after the spell, and it won convincingly, and then has been favourite ever since and has been disappointing. Offshore, there looks a bit of money around for it. It's into equal favourite with Blondeau now. Not convinced on that. I'm willing probably to forgive Catalan on its last run. The first up was very good. Might have suffered from second up syndrome last start. The heavy track may have not helped it, and that's a bit of a worry. But it did run 3 lengths to Expat, and Expat came out after that last weekend and franked that form and proved that it was a pretty decent horse. So I'm not so concerned about those form lines given that, and gets a little bit of weight relief.
And that was second up off a very long spell too, wasn't it? It was off, a year.
That's
off,
right.
So you can probably forgive that.
Yeah.
Distance will probably suit here as well. Should we do a quaddie, Sydney quaddie, to get us underway?
Yeah, why not?
How do you want to do this? I might as well lead us through. You can
You fire away,
veto
mate.
as we go. First leg is race 7, 2 Monagle, 4 Royal Banquet, 5 Cuban Royale, 6 Shim, and 13 Bazooka. A bit wider there. Let's go 1 Bandersnatch, 3 Count of Monte Cristo, 6 Rubisaki, 9 Ziegfeld. Yep. Anyone else?
No, that was it.
2 Frosty Rocks, 5 Iron Power, 7 Ventura Oceans, and 12 Madam Legend. And we'll take on a couple of these favorites in the last. 5 Matawatapi, 7 Catalan. Anyone else? Or do you want to leave these 2 others out?
I'd probably throw in number 3, Smart Image.
Okay, yep. Let's do that. 3, 5, and 7 to bring us home. Maybe get us some percentage there away from offshore and Blondo. We'll take a bit of a risk. For progretracing.com.au, do you have a best and a value for Randwick?
Yeah, my best bet of the day comes up in race 8, number 6, Rubisaki. And my value bet of the day comes up in race 3, number 10, Zoo Station.
I'll make my best Harpo Marks actually in the 2,000 meter race, and the value. I think the midway's value around Monagle and Cuban Royale, both about $15 there. Will give you a run for your money. For progretracing.com.au, check out Progret Racing for their free tips and extensive guides. Let's head to Caulfield, where it is a drying soft track. I think we know what we get at Caulfield, should play okay. And we kick off with the rail in the true with the 2-year-old fillies, which I'm passing on. So do you have anything to add?
No, I've flicked past myself, mate. Happy to watch them go around in the first and save my money for the next.
Race 2 is the 3-year-old boys, 1,100 meters. How about now, Beaver?
Yeah, look, race 2 is a good little race. There's some horses there that have shown some promise. But I like the resuming deep speed. Form last preparation was very good. It's got speed. Caulfield's been favouring on-pace runners the last few meetings, so I suspect that won't change a lot. From gate 9, it's going to have to go forward. I think that puts a bit difficult for someone like All of Brighton to be in the finish if it does favour the leaders. Zipping Boy was very good last start, but it's carrying the grandstand. And has to give a lot of weight to deep speed. So for me, deep speed, main danger, Zipping Boy.
Yeah, similar. I think the same. I think they can probably, if they're smart, control this race and make it very hard for anyone else to get into the finish. I agree with what you said about All of Brighton. I was happy to just assume it's going to be too far back and flashing home, and the leaders will be off and gone here. Race number 3, benchmark 78 over the 1,100 meters. This one, Zorro's Dream's a little bit of a hulk, so I was happy to be away from it. I was actually happy to forgive Lavina its last run up the straight, and I just thought there might be a fair bit of pace here with all the pace sort of ridden by apprentices. Matty Lloyd, Alana Kelly, Tom Stockdale, Carleen Heffel, all sitting close to the speed. Might go a bit crazy, and you'll be looking for a sweeper here. And around the $8.50, I like back around a bend. I like the senior jockey. Brett Preble's actually riding all right at the moment. Month off trial in between, around the $8.50, $9. I might be able to get some of the money back for Lavina last start. Did you have an opinion here?
Yeah, look, you're right with Zorro's Dream. It has last 3 runs have been seconds. Prior to that, though, it did win 2 races in a row. So it's going good, and it's going to probably be in the finish again. Kilcarney Royal beat it 2 starts back. No reason it can't beat it again here. So I'm just gonna hope that Kilcarney Royal gets to sit on these and gets the split at the right time, around the $6 mark, and can finish over Zorro's Dream again.
Cool. Race 4 is the fillies version of the 1100 meters for the 3-odd fillies. I was going to forgive Sugartown up the straight. It just looked like he got completely lost, sort of floated around, and still sort of held on okay. Still was only a few lengths off the finish. And I think can get control here. Jamie Kah from that gate, I'm guessing, goes forward, back around a bend, will be far more comfortable, and I think will run well. So how have you thought about these group of girls?
Yeah, I thought the same as you. I think Sugartown did look a little bit lost last start, and I think getting back around the bend here will suit on pace up near the lead, suited by Caulfield. Jamie Kah hopefully will control it and get one of those necessary wins.
Race number 5 is benchmark 78, 2,000 meters. A bit of a gala here. Anything take your fancy? You mentioned Zakaz in Sydney.
Yep. So I'd like Zakaz here. It's now been backed in a little bit given the scratching of the favourite over the sky, which I've just noticed. So I think that opens this race up to be a fairly open affair. $5.50 equal favourites, Zakaz and Turadin, but I'm leaning towards Zakaz. I think it can be the hardest to beat here. Just like the way it's going about this preparation, gets out to the 2,000, which will suit it, and looks set up for this.
Yeah, I thought, the two at the top of the market were the two starting points here, Zakaz, Honest Horse, and Turadin, I think, can turn the tables on Falls. It's had a bit of space between the runs. Now gets a senior jockey, and Falls just had the big rails bias at Sandown in its favour last time they met. So I thought, 3 and 6 there, Zakaz and Turadin would be the two hardest to beat, but a tricky little race there. Race 6, 2,000 meters for the 3-year-olds this time, where I was looking towards Red Santa coming off just a length or two behind Wicklow. Coming back from there, Sydney form back here, Jamie Kah going on. I assume by now she's probably ridden a 100th winner and has a little bit of maybe the yips out of her system, and hardest to beat here. I thought the two at a price, Montilla can run well, honest enough, in these staying 3-year-old races, and down the bottom uniquely is around 20 to 1 as well, and has been running quite well too. How about you, Beaver?
Yeah, look, Red Santa looks like it should be improved at this. I went for a bit of value in this. I went for number 8, ZX.
Mm-hmm.
It was first up last prep, and it really came home hard and swamped him from near the rear of the field in its back and on the synthetic. So I'm hoping it can bring it to the grass, but possibly come up a much better this preparation. And I'm willing to take the 20s to have a look at ZX and see how it's gone, and hopefully gets one for the roughy backers.
Beautiful. No, well, a lot of the times these, especially the young staying races, tend to be up to grabs. So winter staying stuff, you may as well have a bit of a ride for a big price there. Race number 7, benchmark 84 over the 1,700 meters. Where thought of that is there a bigger SP anchor around? It just seems to start favorite or second favorite every time it goes around. That being said, Chief Alton is the up and comer here. Down in the weights again. You got a claim to get it right down to minimum as well, if you're so inclined to follow that. Gate 5 hopefully can be kept enough out of trouble here, and I don't think this is much stronger than a midweek standard race anyway. So it should be a Saturday winner. I think it will be after Saturday.
Yeah, look, it's going well at the moment. It should have won its last 3. It was a moral beaten when it ran 4th. Look, I just see it getting all the favours here from gate 5. I see it probably sitting one out, one back, just off the pace here. They'll come around the turn and it'll be given clear air. And Tommy Stockdale will get this one home, $4. I'm chuffed at that price at the moment.
Yeah, me too. I think that's a good bet. Race 8, listed Group 3 actually. In fact, these days 1,100 meter Sir Monash Stakes, where Malkovich heads the market. How are you going to play the feature race here?
Yeah, you got Malkovich last start, and I can't see anything beating it here. Probably short enough. It's $2.50, but I really loved the way it won last start. Watching the race, I think it was sort of couldn't lead and start off them and was 3 wide and had to chase really hard, and it did, and it hit the line really hard. I didn't think Malkovich had it in it. When it was sitting sort of third around the bend, I thought you wouldn't want to be on, but yeah, it was a good solid win, and I just think this horse the penny may have dropped.
Yeah, I thought it was one of its, if not its best win, because before that it was a bit of a lead at all costs and hope to hang on horse, and I thought it was pretty impressive. I still have it in my mind that Valami's a better horse than it, and maybe it's improved since then. Yeah, Valami's got first up form and has form in previous lives around some good mare stuff all the way through. Leaning that way from Malkovich, and I think Viridine's come back pretty well. I think it's last start in the finish behind Adelong. Wasn't given every opportunity there and can run well again. I know they're the top 3 in the market, so again, I probably haven't said a lot, but it does have a pretty good Caulfield form off season as well. I'm just going. I think Valami and Malkovich again, or market order. I think they'll still fight out, and I'll probably lean the way of Valami there, and maybe I've got a bit too much of a soft spot for her. Fresh is best so with her. Race 9. Do we wrap it up with anything easier? Potentially not. In fact, not at all. Don't really like the race. I have been a fan of Fundraiser. I think it's a talented horse, and I think around a $7.50 at this level is a good each way play for me to finish the day in a tough affair. How about yourself, Beaver? One of your mates' jumbos here?
Yeah, no, I went for Fundraiser as well. I think third up, two nice runs. First 2 runs this preparation. The gate 18 is a bit of a worry for me. I think it means it's probably got to go.
I think it goes forward
all the way back to.
Oh yeah,
You
otherwise
think it goes
it's 3
forward?
wide.
No,
It's probably stuck 3 wide. If it does. It's true.
Yeah, so I'm a bit worried about the gate and what that actually means. But it's a good chance. Scanton's going well, but I also look. I thought there was a bit of a roughie in the last here too. That's not worth a bit of interest. Is Titan Blinders or Titian Blinders third up as well. First 2 runs shown some improvement. Get about 30 to 1 here in a pretty open affair. Look, it's a big field. These are the types of races where something at odds has been winning and jumping out of the ground. So maybe Titian Blinders might be the one in the last, but Fundraiser as well.
Cool. We've got a few roughies there today, so can't complain that we didn't find a few. For progretracing.com.au, you're going to drive our quaddie at Caulfield?
Yeah, I'll drive the quaddie at Caulfield. Thanks, mate. I'm going to go numbers 1, 3, 7, 8, and 10.
Excellent.
In the second leg, I'm going to go numbers 1, 5, 7, and 9.
Yep.
In the third leg, I'm going to go numbers 1, 6, and 10.
Leaving Valami out, eh? I would put the
Leaving
12
Valami out.
6, but yeah, I didn't know what to make of Red Can Man in that. Yeah, that was a weird. I don't think it handled the straight. Is the best explanation, but go with what you've done. But yeah, throw Valami. I'll be throwing Valami into the record. Keep going.
And in the last leg, go a little bit wide. I'm going to have number 2, number 7, number 8, number 11, number 17, and number 15.
And leaving the favourite out, eh? Grinzinger Alley.
Leaving the favourite out.
I like it. But we've taken our chance in the last at both both Sydney and Caulfield for a bit of a price to finish the day. Very good. Your best end value at Caulfield?
Yeah, my best bet comes up in race 7, number 9, Chief Altony. Thought it might be hard to beat. And my roughie of the day, value bet of the day, comes in race 6, number 8, Zayex.
I'm going to make my best. I think Chief Altony is probably hardest to beat in the day. I think Valami's going to run really well. So, but Chief Altony and Valami, the two I'm keenest on. My value, I'll make it fundraiser in the last. Gate 18, as you said, the only concern there, but at an each way price, I think will run well, as well as those. I really like the staying ones you mentioned in the 3-year-old race. I think I'll give you a shout if you're keen. It's something, if you have a bet at 20s on the day, that'll be the race to do it. King of the North, what have you got for us up in Queensland?
Doomben. Yeah, I've got 3 up in Queensland. Doomben, race 1, number 1. Get us off to a good start. Hinged. Will be winning. Race 3, number 6, Able Mabel. It's going to give us a good sight. And I think best bet of the day up there, race 7, number 1, Axe. Back to the winner's store.
Saw that in there earlier. I think that's a great bet. Very good, Beaver. For progretracing.com.au, this has been Show Us Your Tips. I will see you. We might do some lockdown beers over the weekend via Zoom. We might Zoom in and have a chat during the footy, see how that pans out. Everyone stay safe during the Sydney lockdown, and hopefully we're all back out and about and doing our best in a couple of weeks. Take care, punters, and we will see everyone Tuesday night for our midweek preview.